Hey friends, welcome back to Homeschool-ology. If you're new here, welcome. My name is Nikki. I'm a homeschooling mom of 4. I've got an 8th grader, 4th grader, kindergartner, and pre-K student this year. And on this channel, I usually talk about secular homeschooling, but I also like to share things about like motherhood, housemaking, traveling with a larger family, having a larger family, and lots of other things in between. So today's video, I'm going to be doing kind of a compare and contrast of two middle school resource books. And so they are everything you need to know to ace whatever subject in one big fat notebook. You guys know I love these. I've been sharing about these lots and lots and lots. I have a very old video that I'll link here that kind of shows you a look inside. I think I have a video comparing the two. There's a new version of some of them, and I should compare the two, like the history one, I think. I'm happy to share more about these if you guys want me to. So if there's anything that you, any questions you have about these, or if just anything you want to see about them, I have them all. I even have the high school ones now. And so if you guys have questions about them, ask them down below. I'd be happy to answer them while you're down there. I'd love it if you would hit that subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. But also, I found these other ones, and they are called How to Survive Middle School, a do-it-yourself guide, study guide to whatever subject. And so I picked it up thinking it would be kind of similar to this book. And so I kind of wanted to do like a compare and contrast between the two books for you guys. This one is new to me. I only have the English one so far. I wanted to get one and see how we liked it before we picked up the others. And so I'm going to kind of give you, talk about them a little bit, give you a down view, and share my thoughts. And if you guys have any questions, don't forget to drop them down in the comments. So let's go. So both of these books seemed pretty similar. They both have little catchy, like this one says, notes borrowed from the smartest kids in class, double checked by an award-winning teacher, you know, a little like fun little thing. And then this one has beware, this book might be smarter than your parents. And so I just thought they were kind of like a fun take on these things. I have shared about these ones before and I love them. I don't know as much about English, but I happened to pick up the English one of this, so I'm sharing about English today. But I can vouch for the science one being it's so thorough. The information is correct. You have everything you need to know. You know, it is kind of more of a skim than like deep dives into everything because, you know, they're putting everything in one book, but it's very easy to like gives you the basis of what you need to know, and then if you want to deep dive, you can do that. But I love them. I think they're very thorough. I think they have everything you could need. They are a great resource, a great way to make sure that you're checking all the boxes. Because let's face it, most homeschool parents are not science, you know, middle school science teachers. They don't know exactly what needs to be covered. So this is a great way to kind of just make sure you've hit all the things that you need to hit. And so, but this is the English one. I'll be honest, we haven't used it as much as I hoped for, because at any time my daughter sees this word right here, she is like, nope, not doing it. So I am trying to push that a little bit more this year. So we are going to use both of these books this year, but I wanted to give you kind of my initial thoughts on this one and how it compares to this one. As far as just like physical comparing, I would say this one is slightly thicker, but it's also a little bit longer, so it's a little bit bigger than this one. After looking into them, I kind of thought it would be kind of the same information, just maybe like two different like ways to present the same information. They are not the same information. And so I'm going to turn you down and turn them around and show that you guys the insides, the table of contents, and kind of what the inside of the books look like, so you can see how different they are. They are really more different, in my opinion, than they are alike. So let's take a look. All right, so this is the everything you need to know, and it covers The first unit is on grammar. The second unit is on language, so things like figurative language and things like that. Then it talks about reading fiction, nonfiction, and last unit is writing. Okay, so it covers kind of like everything in an English class. Yes. This one covers using the practices of experts to read, so like how to read more successfully. Then it does talk about fiction and nonfiction, but then it moves on to poetry. I think poetry is included in this one in the fiction section. Let me just double check that for you. So poetry is covered in this one. It's just covered in the nonfiction section. Then it does move into writing. And then narrative writing, informational writing, argumentative writing, getting in touch with others. I don't know what that one is. And then it does move a little bit into like language. Then looking back and looking forward, and then that's it. So this one doesn't really cover grammar, which I think this one it does, and so that's kind of like one major blaring difference that I can see. This one seems to focus very heavy on reading and writing. So this one covers more in my opinion, but this one goes in way more depth than this one does in my opinion. Okay, so let's take a look inside one of the chapters. So let's go, I guess let's skip the grammar chapter since this other one doesn't have grammar. Let's look at one that it does have so we can kind of compare that. So let me see. We're going to look at chapter 13 from this book, which is types of fiction. And as you can see, it has kind of like definitions, like vocabulary definitions. It talks about all the different types of grammar. I love the pictures. I love that it's colorful. I love that it's engaging. It's not just like words on a page. It's not static. You know, it's flowy in my opinion. But it talks about all the different kinds of fiction. It compares them. It talks about plays. It talks about all different things. But you can see that it's a very nice, flowy, lots of bold, lots of color. And then at the end of each chapter, there is a quiz. The answers are directly after on the next page. They're never side by side. They're always like on the next page, but they are right there. So just be aware of that. If you're using these and you really want your children to answer them and not cheat, they are right there. So you'll have to do something to prevent that. But it has a lot of questions. Whenever we use these, we literally just use them as discussion questions. I don't make her write anything, but the answers are there for you. So that's kind of what a chapter looks like in here. So it's slightly different in this book. It's still very colorful. I do feel like it flows. Vocabulary is still highlighted. It's pretty good. I like the use of charts and things like that in this one. But it is a little more this page is very traditional to me, I guess. But it does have the different kinds. It does compare and contrast them. So it is still very much the same. But that was the whole different types. It's just basically this chart. That's fine. But let's go a little bit further. So there's not quizzes at the end of each chapter like there was in the other one, but there are these activities throughout the book. So it has a lot more things for your students to write, more so than reading. There's a lot, you can see a lot of the book is writing things. I didn't really realize that. I didn't realize this was more of a workbook than anything else. But that's cool, I guess. But you can see that there is a lot of places to write and a lot of things. And I feel like it does go kind of more in depth into all the different things, but it doesn't cover grammar. So I think it could be good. I think I kind of like it. I like that, I like that there's a lot in here for them to interact with. I think that's nice. But what kind of sets this book apart from this other one, this one is more like content. This is like notes taken, and in class it's more content. This one is a little bit more of like, it says a do-it-yourself study guide. So it's like, it's teaching them kind of the method to figure it out more than just giving them content. So let's go to this first. It says growing a love of English. And so it gives you a whole section. They don't really call them chapters, but it gives you a whole section on like this is healthy eating, getting healthy sleep, healthy relationships, stress management, like just tips on planning, tips on finding, your study style, tips for, setting up a good study environment, tips on time management, tips on, just how to study. And then it tells you how to use this book. It gives you your survival guide, which I think is really great. I really like this little section. I'm definitely gonna have my daughter go over that, because that's like something that I feel like as homeschoolers, we don't necessarily teach them that specifically. Like we're showing them how to have a love of learning and how to learn. Like that's the goal of us, is teaching them how to learn. But I felt like this was really useful information that I hadn't really thought to teach her before. So we'll definitely be using that. But this one is more of a like how to find the answers, how to read fiction, how to read nonfiction, how to write a narrative story, how to write a whatever story. Where this one, when it's talking about writing, it's more so like, let's find the writing section. When it does have this chapter that's writing practices, like how to write well, like in brainstorming and like all of that, but it's more so like the mechanics and the what it needs to include. And this one is a more of like what your process is. And so all that being said, I like both of these. I think these, you guys know I love these. These I love. I think they're great to have around to make sure you're checking all your boxes. I love these, but I really like this one too, which means I probably will pick them all up. And even though she's, my oldest is in 8th grade, I think they would still be useful to her over the next few, even into high school. And of course I have other little kids that are coming up, but I think both of these are actually really great resource books to have on hand if you have a middle schooler. Even if you have younger than a middle schooler, this one I still find very useful because it's got all the information in there. And so you can, use it for you, the teacher, to make sure that you're covering everything that you need to cover. This one I do feel like is more directed towards, they're both directed towards the student, but I feel like this one is a great way to make sure you're checking all the boxes, where this one is better and like a how-to guide, which is what it is called, basically. And so I really like both of these. All right, so to sum it all up, these books are much more different than I thought that they would be. I thought they would be a lot more similar to each other, and maybe just present the information maybe exactly the same, maybe a little bit different. But I really wanted to check these out because we love these so much. So I thought these are very similar. But now that I have it on hand, I'm realizing that it is very different than, not entirely different. They're, middle grade English is still going to cover the same things, the same topics, the same ideas. And it's not like they're disagreeing with each other. It's just like it's a different approach, and it's more like teaching your kids how to learn, which I actually really like. So I like both of these. If you had to hold my feet to the fire and say which one would I buy, I'm probably going to say this one because I just really, 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 really love these. I think they're so great as like a general overview of everything that you need to know. It really is everything that you need to know for that subject. But if I had the choice, if I had the funds available, I would definitely be picking up both of these books. And this one, if your child, you know, maybe your child has got, but maybe your child needs a little bit more of like how to set up a successful study area, how to be, you know, how to do these things more so than what it is that you need to do, if that makes sense. Then this one might be a better fit for you. So I hope you guys found this helpful. I probably will be picking up the other ones. I don't know when. Right now we're just, you know, surviving. And these are kind of resources that I might bring in a little bit later in the year. So I don't know when, but if I do, I will of course show you guys around inside. If you wanted to know anything else about these, I have them all. I'm happy to answer any questions. And I think that's all I'm going to share with you guys today. Don't forget you can follow us over on Instagram at Homeschool-ology. And I hope you will come back and chat with me again real soon. And I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.